We're gathered here today to talk about Kadena. Now this is KDA, and you'll notice it because it's been one of the coins that has outperformed the market drastically. You know, it's up there on the top list. It's actually 70 on the list of cryptocurrencies, but it's number 2 on the biggest movers in the last 24 hours. So I'm going to get into the chart today and give you my opinions on Kadena, not kind of the fundamentals or the use case or anything like that, nothing about the project itself, but about how the chart looks and where I would be placing my fibs and my sell orders for this coin. And a little bit later on in the video, I'll be discussing whether I actually think that Kadena is worth buying or waiting for the next dip, if buying at all. So first we have to see how well the fibs conform to this chart, right? So how we get an understanding of that is we take, you know, smaller highs and drag them to the lows, and we basically want to see if the 3.2 line, which is a custom line on my charts, you'll only find the 3.2 on my charts, and you can see that if we place this Fibonacci absolutely perfectly on here, as in this was the top and this was the bottom, you can see the 3.2 was actually just wicked to. So if you'd set your sell orders at the 3.2, which is what I do on my charts and in my exit strategies, you know, that would have been the ultimate sell order, right? Especially on this one. But so we can see that the upper end of the fibs, the 3.2, conforms with this chart. So I want to see if this happens on more instances. Let's use this one, for example. This was the top and this was the bottom. Again, 3.2. I'll just adjust that slightly. Again, the 3.2 looks like it was very close to getting fulfilled on that one. So actually that would have been more conservative, but we are hanging around that 3.2, and you could argue to say that, you know, it bounced off the 3.2, especially if you look at it in this kind of way. So I'm pretty confident that the 3.2 is a good area to be looking at when you're projecting the fibs onto this chart. So let's place it onto this one, for example. Well, you can see that the 3.2 actually ended up being turned into support at that point, meaning we had a super cycle pump on this one. How we do a super cycle, this is actually only how I use fibs. I don't know if other people use fibs like this. It's just worked for me. The super cycle fib is where we put the 0.236 line on the top of the peak to see where the top of the market came in. And would you look at that, as if by magic, the 4.236 was exactly hit on the super cycle fib. What does a super cycle fib mean? Well, a super cycle is ultra bullish, right? If we look at the normal projection, which would have been here, you know, outperformed, meaning that if we put the super cycle fib, we see the ultimate bullish run that we could see for the coin, in my opinion, based on my conservative opinions, and we can see even the top of the Fibonacci's were hit on the most bullish option. What does that mean? Well, if I was in Kadena, my sell-off order would actually probably be still around this 3.2 line. And I don't know how many of you pay attention to the 702 Fibonacci extension, but actually on my charts now, it's actually the 702 or the 0.666, interesting number, but that range right there seems to be where retracements happen. And I haven't done this on the chart yet, so I want to see. But from what I've seen, Kadena has formed a typical crashing structure, right? So a peaking structure. How I know this is because we've hit a new all-time high right here, and this is classic of peaking structures. You see a new all-time high, but only barely, then the price reduces way back down and then does another little retracement. And it's this retracement that I'm interested in, this one right here, going from that price to that price. This is what we see with Bitcoin when Bitcoin ends the whole bull run. Right? This is the kind of thing we see. So I'm working with familiar data here, though I haven't done it on Kadena's chart. What I want to see is if this line right here falls within the 0.666 on this, or the 0.702 line. So how we do that is we take the peak of the market, which is right here, and we drag the bottom down to the bottom of the market. So drag that down to the bottom, and we can see that the 702 line and the 0.666 line is way up here. We have not retraced for this coin yet, if this was a peaking structure. I say all of that to say, I don't actually think this is a peaking structure, based on the fact that we've had a retracement and it hasn't reached that 0.702 or 0.666 range. So I'm going to take that away, and that's just basically validated to me that this hasn't been the top for Kadena. So what does that mean? Well, where is the top? Well, how we use the short-term fibs is we have the top of the market right here, as usual. We drag that down to the local low. So that bottom that we've just seen, I'd imagine that was the bottom. It might not be, in which case, if it's not, then these numbers don't make any sense. But if this is in fact the bottom on the lead up to the alt season, then my money would be coming out of Kadena at $81.47. That is because the 3.2 line falls exactly on that number. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the short term for Kadena, we saw something like this bounce off the 0.236, comes back down, maybe down to this level, down to $6.73 or something. And then we start seeing the big movements up. We have another drop down, more big movements up. Ultimately, $81.47 is basically where I'd be taking all of my coins out of Kadena if I was holding Kadena. And I'm not, okay? So I'm not in this coin. Your decisions are your decisions. Don't take everything I say as gospel. This is just how I do things and how I use the fibs. And the short-term fibs on this occasion are lining up towards an $81.47 Kadena. And that's regardless of the pump right now. The only reason we're covering this coin right now is because it's pumped and people are interested to know more about the coin and what it looks like on the charts. Understand that every green candle, these days of green candles, always come down at a certain point before they then head back up. Look, we had a prime example back here. If I draw a circle, prime example right down in here, we had a couple of green days, this big lead up, nice green, consolidation for the next couple of days before we then moved on. That's exactly what we could do here. We could come back down to these levels, down to the levels you don't want to be back down to, and then we're off again, right? That's just how human behavior works, and the fibs kind of show that. So when we look at the top of the fibs here and it says $106, I'm not saying hold your coins into $106. I'm saying when I leave the market, my upper limits are $81.47. There might be people out there saying that's ultra conservative or ultra bullish. I don't care. This is how I use the fibs. I'm not telling you to use the fibs like this. That's just how I operate, essentially. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Just subscribe, hit that little button right there. And next to it, if you wanted to get to know the community more or actually have more direct contact with me to ask me questions about your own portfolio, click join next to the subscribe button and you get presented with all the tiers of membership. The lowest starts at £2.99 and it basically gives you a certain percentage off one-on-one sessions and the e-booklets that I post, like an exit strategy or the 12 coins in the 0.236 line. And also you get access to the members club on Discord, as well as early access to videos that have urgent in the title. If you wanted to support more, you obviously have all the way up to $23.99 a month where, I'll jump on a call with you and have a chat. You get loads of percentages off all the stuff, and you also basically get access to my phone number just to message me questions. And follow me on Twitter. Bye.